All right, guys, I got a question. Serious question here. Is the WNBA trash? Like, and I know that sounds harsh, but a serious question. Like, is the WNBA trash? Like, leave the woman bashing and the sandwich making jokes to the side, right? There's a time and place for that. But here, serious question. Is the WNBA trash? I asked this question because lately all we've been hearing on networks like ESPN and the fellas, the guys in the NBA and, you know, the women, all they've been telling us about how good the product is, how great, you know, how this is the top of all basketball in the world, elite level basketball. And I keep asking myself, is it? Now, before I jump in this video, I just want to start this video off by saying this. Look, unlike 99% of everyone else who talks about the WNBA and makes WNBA videos, I actually attend WNBA games. Okay? I've went to several Seattle Storm games. I've gone to several Los Angeles Sparks games. My daughter plays basketball. She likes going to the games. And her favorite player is Lexi Brown, believe it or not, from the Phoenix Mercury. So we're actually a family that actually has invested interest in the WNBA. I'm actually interested in the WNBA because my daughter likes basketball. But there is no way that my daughter's going to play basketball and make $60,000 a year, $50,000 a year. That's just not going to happen. If I have it my way, my daughter will know how to make more than that amount of money before she graduates high school. But that's about family economics and has nothing to do with basketball. We can talk about that at a different time. But everyone keeps telling me, all the sports analysts, all the WNBA players, all the NBA players keep telling me that this is elite level basketball. And so I was thinking about it and about how the WNBA players should be paid more, right? And kudos for them. They did the right thing by opting out of their current CBA. That's the first step to getting paid more, you know. So I think that was very wise. I think that's very good. The smart play, to be honest, because I think they need to negotiate some things that are more than just about pay. There's some basic things that as a professional, they just don't. There's not a lot of professionalism in the WNBA. Which brings me to my answer for the question. Este basura. The WNBA is trash. It's trash. And if so happens, I don't think they will, but if so happens a WNBA player stumbles upon this video, just hear me out for a second. Hear me out. Because one of the things that I think is missing from this WNBA conversation is that I don't think on the people side who are saying the players should be played more, I don't think they're really focused on the things that make the WNBA not so good. I get it. It needs to be more professional. They need more money. I get that. But there are some things that really make this league just not a good product. It's just not good. And by the way, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why it's trash. In my next video, part 2, I'm going to be talking about some things that the WNBA can do to become successful. Okay, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, because I will be going over that in the next video. But let's jump into this. I got 3 reasons why the NBA is trash. Okay, and I use that word specifically, trash. Because it's bad, because it loses money, because it doesn't have a lot of viewership comparatively. Okay? And understand that sports is the only thing keeping cable television alive at this point. Sports and reality TV. It's like sports and the Kardashians are the only reason why cable TV still exists. Netflix and YouTube and all this other new media is taking over television. So if you're a sports team or a sports business and a professional sports business and you can't bring in TV ratings, it's going to be really tough for you. But here we go. Let's talk about the 3 reasons why I believe the WNBA is trash, okay? Here's number 1 that I don't think people talk about. There are just some built-in obstacles to the game of basketball that women face. And I think until the WNBA addresses that, they will never ever solve the root of their problem. Okay? See, right now the WNBA comes across as women who are trying to play basketball instead of a women's basketball league. And one of the reasons is because they just don't address the built-in obstacles women have towards basketball. This is not sexist. This is just a reality. The game is predicated on you being what? Tall, fast, strong, quick. And I'm not saying women can't do that stuff. I'm not saying women can't be any of those things. But on average, hear what I'm saying? On average, men tend to be taller, stronger, faster, quicker, and can jump higher. In a very real way, the female anatomy is not built towards basketball. And so there are some built-in obstacles that women will always face when it comes to the game of basketball. It's just, and I say this, I'm not only have a daughter who plays, I coach JV girls basketball in high school. And I can't tell you how many girls, by the time they get to high school, are still shooting the ball with 2 hands. You know why? Because when puberty hits, boys tend to get more muscle mass and more testosterone and things that help them to be stronger. And so they can actually develop proper shooting earlier than girls. And so girls, pretty much up until the time they hit 14, have a natural setback when it comes to the game of basketball. And I'm going to be hitting on more on that in the second video. So again, make sure you subscribe when I talk about the solution actions that the WNBA could take to actually make this a watchable product for the masses. Okay? So, but there's some built-in obstacles in the game of basketball that women will face. And I think until the WNBA takes the leadership on addressing those issues, it's always going to be hard for them to make an exciting brand of basketball that people want to pay money to see. Here's the second reason why I say it's trash. Because the market has been telling you for years that it's trash. Your consumers have been telling you for years and years and years, or not your consumers, your lack of consumers have been telling you for years and years and years and years, we are just not that interested in what you're putting out. Now, I know, people on side of the WNBA being a good league will say, well, viewership is up and, ratings are up and all this stuff. Well, it's not hard to go from 0 to 1, right? Like, it's not hard when you were barely getting anything and then you start to get something. Okay, cool. You got something to build off of. But here's the thing. If I'm in school and I raise my grade from a 40 to a 45, I still get an F. And so I think that the market has been telling the WNBA for years, we don't like what you're putting out. That's why we're not buying tickets. That's why we're not watching the games. And that's why we are not showing up. It's because we just don't like what you have to offer. And one of the biggest problems in the WNBA is I just don't think they listen to the market. They're trying to force their product and their opinion on the market instead of listening to the market. Something someone once told me is like, sometimes you have to listen to the haters, because the haters will tell you the truth that your fans aren't willing to tell you. Sometimes a hater will tell you what your friends will not tell you. And I think there are a lot of people who are quote unquote haters, but who are actually speaking the truth. Look, I spend my hard-earned money on WNBA games. It is not as exciting, as watchable, as enjoyable as an NBA game. Why? Well, the women tend to miss more shots. You see a lot more missed layups. You see a lot more missed open shots. You don't have as many fast breaks. Again, I am a consumer of your product. I'm not here. I have an invested interest at seeing this league do well. I want my daughter to be able to believe that she can do anything that she wants to, but I will not send my daughter out into a world or a league that's not going to pay her like a professional. It's just not going to happen. I will steer my daughter clear of that. And I think a lot of parents feel the same, which is a shame, because when you think about it, on the professional level, the WNBA has no other female competition. There's not really like a national professional softball league to compete with. You're not competing with soccer at that level. Obviously, you don't have football or hockey. So for me, it's a shame that the WNBA is not dominating women's professional sport. But I just think they're not listening to the market. They're trying to force their product on the market, and so they're going, hey, we're telling you as consumers, this is what we don't like, and your response back is, no, we're the most, these are elite level athletes. And the market is saying, well, if this is elite level, we don't want to watch elite level, we'll just go watch the NBA. And so I think that they got to do a better job of just listening to the market. Yes, that means the haters. Yes, that means the trolls. Take the trolls with a grain of salt. Yes, that means the people who are just like, hey, you know, the WNBA is, you know, women aren't as good as basketball or whatever. Feel how you want to feel about it. There's some truth in that. There is some truth in that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'll talk about this more in my second video, but until the WNBA embraces the W in WNBA, it will always be a failing league. They're trying to be women who are trying to play basketball instead of being a women's basketball association. And no, that has nothing to do with sexualizing the women, and it has nothing to do with making them, dolling them up, or making them more prettier or something like that. It has nothing to do with that. But it's about ignoring basic strengths and weaknesses of women and then building on your strengths. Okay, the last thing. This is the last one. And I think this is a major one that I think a lot of companies in 2018 are just losing. And this is why bigger companies are winning, and big, you know, people talk about the 1% and the billion-dollar corporations and all this stuff. This is why they're winning, and a lot of businesses are losing. It's because nobody knows, is the WNBA an activist organization or a business? Which one is it? Are you supporting Planned Parenthood, or are you trying to entertain me? Are you trying to stand up for Black Lives Matter, or can I expect to see a good basketball game? Are you, standing for pride and, homosexuals and transgenders in the LGBTQ community? Or am I here to see a basketball game? Which one is it? As a consumer, I don't want to be confused with what I'm getting. And are you an activist organization, or are you a business? Now, people say you can do both. Yes, you can do both, but your bottom line will suffer. Your bottom line will suffer. For me, it makes more sense to create female millionaires than to be an outright activist organizations, because then those female millionaires can go use their money and resources and connections to then build the things that they are passionate about. If Brittany Griner and Sue Bird were multi-millionaires because of the WNBA, of course they would funnel a bunch of money into the LGBTQ community. It's like, duh, they would do that. But I think they're limited in what they can do because their employer has not figured out, are you an activist organization or are you a business? And I think what we're finding out, again, people will shoot me because I'm a man, and what do men know about women's rights? Okay, if you want to go that route, you can go that route. But again, This is coming from someone who has an invested interest, who spends his hard-earned dollars on the WNBA, who has a young daughter who really likes basketball and is actually kind of good for her age. I mean, she's still really young, and she loves coming to my games when I coach and being there with me. We're a basketball family. And so I have an invested interest in seeing this do well. And I'm trying to tell you that until you decide if you want to be an activist organization or a business, you will always lose money. Because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And I'll touch on this more about, the campaign, the advertising campaign that the WNBA did in 2014. That was a disaster. It was a terrible disaster, and they suffered for it. But it was all built around the fact was they wanted to be more of an activist organization, but rather than a business. And I think until the WNBA gets in the business of creating female millionaires, because that's way bigger. I think that's more important than trying to show people you stand for stuff, trying to be a cool hashtag, jumping on the latest trend. Because I do not see the WNBA as a leader in female activism, as a leader in feminism. I don't think anyone sees that. I don't think when we ask young girls what organizations do you think of when you think of feminism, I do not think the WNBA comes to people's mind. So I think they're even failing at being activists. And because they're trying to do everything, you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing. So, video's getting kind of long, but what do you guys think? I know what you guys think. You think it's trash, but I got some reasons here, and I got some solutions again. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the notification bell, because I will be coming out with a second part to this video where I will be talking about 5 things I do believe that the WNBA can start doing right now for it to be a good league, a good product. Again, subscribe if you're new, like it if you like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.